Hi.
Hello?
Hi, who's this?
This is, who's this?
This is Rihanna Richardashian. You rang me. What do you want? I don't
Oh,
fucking do law anymore. You're gonna have to, like, speak to Ralph or some shit.
Is it? I'm Wasp Kill Bears. Hello? I think you've entered a competition.
I don't know who that is.
You know who that is.
No.
You know, I did that, you know, National Treasure thing months and months ago. And other stuff too, I guess.
Wait, have we done a video together or something?
Wait, we're on audio. You're being broadcast live to thousands.
Oh. I need some more.
You're about to appear on a game show. Have you ever heard of Deal or No Deal?
I think I did like a parody video of that once, yeah.
What was it called?
I can't remember.
Feel or No Feel?
I think it was called, like, Open Up Your Box or some shit.
What was inside?
There was a lot inside by the end of it.
Okay. Where are you calling from?
I was just at Paris Fashion Week, and then I think I'm gonna go to, like, Ibiza or some shit.
You go to Ibiza?
Judge has, like, a house there. Yeah.
Now, are you Rihanna Richardson from Meet the Richardashians?
Yeah. Don't you fucking know me?
Well, I'm just putting the pieces. I'm putting the pieces together.
Yeah, you fucking called me.
Well, you're gonna. Do you need this money?
Hang on, did you fucking call me for the special line? If it's a special line, then there's a charge per minute.
Oh. Maybe this is a check. Do you need this money?
What money? What's it for?
Yeah. Well, that's
for
the thing.
A video?
I mean, it's technically a video.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a $50,000 like special celebrity guest appearance fee.
Maybe this should be for charity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What charity would you donate it to?
You ever heard of that one that like campaigns for votes for dogs?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Do that one.
Okay, so it's for charity. We're trying to get votes for dogs.
It's time to.
Have you ever seen Deal or No? I know you said you made a parody video, but are you aware of Noel Edmonds?
Is he cute?
No.
Oh, then no.
I mean, if you can see him now. If you look at your TV screen, you should be able to see him now.
Oh.
Do you like the way he moves?
I don't know.
He does
like, maybe for, like, enough money? Is that what you're asking me?
I think it does look a bit like he is slightly thrusting and maybe...
He looks out of breath. Did he just do a video? I don't know if he can handle doing another one.
I think he might have one of the same kind of phone lines as you do as well. That's why he's got the phone placed where it is.
Oh, I wonder how much he charges.
Rihanna, do you have any number between 1 and 22 that's special to you?
Oh, I think I'll go for the most that I've had at the one time. 22.
22.
Yeah,
I
it's
had.
a very special number to me, and it's close to my heart.
Oh, that's how you had to, fit them all in. They had to go right up to where your
Yeah.
heart is.
The 22nd was close to my heart, too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but he just poked it a little bit.
Yeah.
Here
I had
is your
44
box.
Maltesers in my mouth
Hope
earlier on.
contains a life-changing
How many
sum of
balls have you had in
money.
yours?
Where are you going first?
Well, what's 22 times 2? Hang on. No, that would be...
44.
No, it was probably
Equals.
45, because one of them was,
Someone had an extra.
interesting, yeah. Like a medical marvel.
Well, I don't know if this can be broadcast before the watershed. Okay, can you see the screen, Rihanna? You can see all the different people you can choose from.
Yeah.
Different numbers you
Are
can
they all
choose
getting involved?
Yeah, they're these. You've been staying. Well, no, because you're on a special phone line. You haven't been staying at the hotel with these guys, have you?
I mean, are they all, gonna take turns, or what's gonna happen?
Basically, all you have to do is just start picking boxes. Picking the numbers with the boxes. And basically, you want the highest number. In your 22, you're hoping you got the £250,000 in there to go to the dog charity.
Okay, so I just, go up to these people and be like, open up your box for me, I'm famous.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Oh, okay. Who's
Maybe these are
cute?
one of the people who touched your heart.
Oh, yeah. I think number 9 might have. Been
Number
a
9?
special
We-
one, yeah.
Scaramanga, he's got 3 nipples, so he might be the one who has 3 balls. Are we going for number 9?
Yeah.
Box
Alright, number 9.
please. Let's keep it blue.
Keep it blue, which you often do,
20,000
Rihanna. 20,000! Not great. But,
What is that? 20,000, to
Choose
sleep
a
with them?
box to open.
no, it just means you can't win £20,000.
Okay, I don't care.
I mean, it's for the charity. It means the charity won't get this £20,000. Could get more, though.
Oh. Doesn't affect me, anyway.
Well, who would you like to go for next? You can tell me which direction you want to look. I can
Let's
help.
go for number 1. She's cute.
Number 1. Who's got number 1? Oh, it's Blank McGee. I refuse to say the name she's been given.
Open box number 1, please.
Come on, number 1. £250. That's good. That's good, Rihanna.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Avoid
Because we want to
big
get rid of the
money.
blue numbers. See these blue numbers? We want to get rid of them.
Why can't I just have it all?
Because it kind of would... The game aspect. I don't think it'd make great TV. And you know about making great TV.
Yeah, well, I'm usually on the internet more than on TV.
That's where
These
you are
days.
now.
Yeah.
Which one are we going for next?
Let's go for 14.
14? Cool guy Isaac. He's just a cool guy.
What's
What do you
in
got?
14?
75,000. Oh,
£75,000.
not so cool,
Wouldn't
Isaac.
want that
Not
to
so
happen.
cool.
Is that how much he charges?
Choose your next box.
How much do you
Why?
charge?
Well, my appearance fee for, shows like this would be 50,000, but then, for a freaking, video, I get all the profits. Mom gets, maybe, 25% of those.
Your mum's in them as well?
And then, well, there was that one, but, that one didn't really do so well because, remember
Oh, shit.
when, half her ass popped? Turns
Half
out
her
people
ass
don't want to
popped?
watch that with like, yeah. Remember? Do you not remember?
What do you mean don't remember? I've not seen this, so I don't know.
Oh, you should know. She fucking tried to move, like, when we all moved to Quiet City, she fucking, one of her fucking butt fillers popped and now she has half an ass. Turns out people don't want to watch a fucking video with someone with half an ass.
Just like a
I think it
deflated
did well on,
balloon
like,
hanging
some of
off.
those, like, specific sites, though. But, like, for general appeal, no.
Okay, what number we go for next?
I'm gonna say, 15.
15, Wee Moira! Come on, Wee
Box
Moira,
number
what have you got?
15.
Oh my god,
Oh,
is that Wee Moira?
50,000! It's Wee Moira,
That's
yeah!
what we didn't
I've
want
seen
to
her
see.
nudes.
Choose a
When you
box
say
to open.
seen, do you mean someone sent them? You've discovered them somewhere?
No, she sent a bunch to Davy that time. And then, I seen
Who's
them.
Davey?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Nobody. I don't even want to talk about it. Shut up.
You shut up. Where are we going for next?
Let's go for, 13.
Unlucky for some. Turtleneck. What do you got?
Lucky for some.
£100. That's more like it. We've not had a great start, but £100.
Am I
Someone
winning it,
in-
or
Oh,
what's
we're getting a
happening?
phone call. We're getting a phone call. Might be to one of your private lines. Hello?
Hello? No.
Oh, Rihanna, it's the banker. Do you know who the banker is?
Here is the banker's opening offer.
No, what's he saying? Is he just breathing? Sometimes they just
Player
breathe
one,
for a
are you
while.
ready for the question?
I mean, he's not breathing that heavily at the moment after seeing your first round. He's laughing.
It's
He's
okay, I
laughing.
can go for multiple rounds.
Oi, oi, oi. £5,000 the banker wants to offer you to stop playing this game so he can keep his 250 grand.
5,000? Are you
I kind of
fucking
forgot how to
serious?
talk when I was saying that. £5,000 is what he's offering.
That's ridiculous. Even fucking Davey offered me 30,000 to sleep with
I
him.
don't know who Davey is. You say you don't want to talk about him. You keep talking
that's
about
not
him.
enough. That's not enough money. It's ridiculous.
So you're saying no deal? He's offering the deal. Is it deal or no deal?
Deal?
No, it's
or
no deal. Go away.
No deal! We go again. Okay, and from now on you're going to be
Let's
picking
open some
3
more
boxes each
Choose
round.
your next box.
Rihanna. Is it Rihanna or Rhiannon? I've just
It's
realised I don't actually
Rihanna.
know. Rihanna, good, I got it right. I just realised I don't know
I
which
don't know
one
why
it was.
you don't know. I don't
I've
know
been-
why you're pretending that you don't know. You're like all the other guys who are like, I don't recognize you. And you do. Because everyone does.
I think
Because
it's
you've
because you
seen
wear...
my videos.
I mean, I think you often wear like one of those little masks, don't you?
In a few. The ones that were in the fancy castle, they usually do masks.
Was that when you did the Traitors parody?
No, the ones that are in like the medieval, like fancy castle one. You ever go there? It's pretty cool.
Okay, what are we going for next?
Let's see. Who's around? Who's around?
We got lots of people. Laura people.
I'm gonna go for... Oh my god, I think I know that 18 guy.
18?
Yeah.
Gregston? You know Gregston?
Yeah, I think I recognize him from that time I got stuck in the dryer.
You got stuck in the dryer?
Yeah, sometimes I get stuck in a dryer.
Like a tumble dryer?
Yeah. You'd be surprised how common that it is. Those things are dangerous.
Why did you get into it?
Oh, I was getting
I guess
laundry
to
out
dry
of the
off?
dryer.
You were getting laundry from the dryer and you got stuck in it.
Oh, I got stuck like halfway in it, yeah.
How?
I just got stuck, you know, and I remember that guy helped me.
Gregston helped you out. Gregston checked in.
Well,
Alright.
yeah. He like
Well,
helped
let's
me
see what
in,
you got
out,
there,
in, out,
Keep
in,
it
out,
low.
and then in, out,
Keep it
and then
blue.
in, and then out again.
Oh, he hasn't helped you out here. £100,000 is
That to
gone.
happen.
250's still there.
I don't know
You
what that
find a
means.
blue.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything good, but you've still got 250. So we just had someone win 250, the contestant we had on before you. So can you repeat that magic is the question. Which box are we going for next?
Let's say 20. That person looks nice.
20? Can never remember this person's name. Kizzy! We're going to call him Stardust Kizzy from now on.
What's in
Come on, number
box
20.
20?
£10! That's more like it. That's more like it. Moira loved that. She was very pleased.
One more box before the next offer.
One more box.
Oh, one more box is the name of one of my videos.
What's the story of that one?
Story? You watching for those stories? You know what,
Yeah.
though? I have been
I'm an
actually
intellectual.
complimented on the stories. That's what, like, sets me apart. You know, you've got plot development
I mean,
and thought development.
you've taken on some quite heavy themes. I like the one about the fall of
Yeah.
Soviet Russia. What was that one called again?
Oh, the red curtain matches the carpet?
Oh. How could I forget the name of that one? How could I have forgotten the name of that one? Oh, what are we going for next?
I still talk to the guy that played fucking Stalin in that one.
No, I mean, he really was a fucking Stalin in that one.
What do
played
I
him?
do?
Pick another box.
What do I do now? Oh, 3.
Vlad the Vampire.
Let's open box number 3.
5,000.
£5,000.
Oh, look at that scary face he's just done.
Oh, that guy's a vampire?
Not the girth of Stalin. I thought it was going to be back in the PUSSR, but... There
Oh,
we
no,
go.
that was like the
Hello,
B-side.
banker.
I mean, you got... The B-side was involved. Oh, you got
Yeah,
a phone call.
and the B-side was a good one, too.
Player 1, are you ready for the question?
You're a fan of Rihanna's films, are you, Banker? Oh, I can't repeat that. 4,200 is what the banker's offering. It's less than before. Because you've taken out some really... As always, you've taken out some big ones.
What's that for? What do I do with
Basically,
that?
He's saying, I'll give you this much if you stop playing, and you... Because he's trying to protect his £250,000.
No. I'm not a quitter. I never stop. Everyone knows that Rihanna Richardashian never stops. Not while the
So-
cameras are rolling.
Deal,
Deal or no deal?
or no deal?
No, no deal.
No deal. We go again.
Okay, let's open some more boxes. Where are you
W
going
gag.
next?
That's not it again. Again, it's
What?
one word. Don't know, I just had a slight meltdown.
I don't gag. That's what I'm proud of. After all this time, I'm pretty sure, like,
I knew that
I'd
one
be
was
pretty
coming.
bad at my freaking job if I was gagging still.
What number are we going for next?
Let's go number 5. She looks like my mom.
Vera! She's the grandma of the group. G of the G.
Open box 5, please. 1,000.
1,000! Yes, that's good. That's good.
Is it? I don't know.
Choose your next
pretty good.
box.
We got lots of blues, though,
Do I know
Rihanna. We need
more?
to get rid of some of these blues.
Get that 10 person.
Reliable
Yeah.
Wes. I think Reliable Wes is the most attractive of all of these people. What do you think?
Let's see what's in 10. 15,000.
Yeah, he's cute.
That was unreliable, Wes. That's 15 grand
You've
gone.
got the red mist. Choose your next box.
I don't even care. I spent 15 grand this morning on a freaking smoothie.
15 grand smoothie?
Yeah.
What smoothie was it?
I don't know. It was like,
You don't even know. Is that why it's so expensive?
yeah, well, it was supposed to be like a de-aging detoxifying thing. It was like kind of white and cloudy.
White and cloudy.
Yeah.
Okay. Next number.
11.
Number 11. Who's got 11? Pinky. Go on, Pinky.
Box 11. Let's take a look.
Come on, give us blue. 10p. Yes. There we
Just what
go.
we were looking
Crowd
for.
loved that one, Rihanna. Crowd were cheering that one.
Oh, that's good. I like performing in front of crowds.
Mainly in the middle, right?
Hello?
Oh, is he ringing again?
Rebecca! I mean, this is the dirtiest my stream has ever been, yes.
Player 1, are you ready? for the question?
£5,300. This banker, he's been a bit of a cheapskate for you, Rihanna.
Is that to like do an Insta post?
I mean, if that's what you want to use it for. But it's mainly to get you to stop playing, so he can keep his £250,000.
I mean, like, why does he want me to stop playing? What is he gonna do instead?
That's a good point. Why he's put on this game where he's risking his £250,000, I don't quite know. I don't know what's going on in that sick man's brain.
No, I don't want that. That's nothing to me.
So that's a no deal?
Deal
No.
or no deal?
No deal! Keep going. We keep moving forwards.
Let's open some more boxes.
Let's get rid of
We
some
know
blues. You got
what
a
we
Laura
don't want to
blues
see.
here, Rihanna.
Who's left? Let me see.
We've got Cursed Keith. We've got Bonnie. We've got Andrea 1. We've got Cousin Calvin. We've got Auntie Lenny. We've got Goth Lady. We've got Lenny. We've got Tori MP. We've got Prince, Harry, and we got Andrea 2.
Give me 21.
21. That's Andrea 1.
Let's see what's in.
Come on,
box
Andrea.
21.
Show us a blue. Yes, 1p.
Yes.
Andrea 1p.
Yay. That good?
Where are
That's
you going
very good.
next?
We need 2 more like that. Then. 2 more blues.
Someone on the left side. There's loads over there.
Someone on the left. So you got 8, 7, 2, 16.
Give me 8.
Eight. Cursed Keith,
box
what do you got for us?
£250,000.
Rihanna!
Just what we
Oh,
didn't
Rihanna!
want to see.
Is that bad or what?
One more box before the next
It's
stop.
very bad.
Let's
We've
make it a
lost the
good one.
biggest amount of money. £250,000 is gone. That dog charity is not getting that
Okay.
£250,000.
So does that mean the dogs aren't gonna get votes?
Well, they're not going to get £250,000 worth of them, no. We still got 35 though. We could still win 35,000.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, which way do you want to go? Right or left?
Go for 19.
Just 19. Tory MP. Helped out Stardust. Will they help out Rhiannon? Let's find
have
out.
box 19.
500. That's
£500.
nice. Oh, I'm not looking forward to your next offer from the banker, Rhiannon.
The banker will be rubbing his hands now.
Oh, he'll be rubbing his hands, says Snow Edmonds.
Oh.
Hello,
Usually when they ring, they're rubbing other things.
That's a
Oh,
derisory
banker!
offer.
Oh, banker, that is...
Player 1, are you ready for the question?
Banker. That's the most punishment she could have ever taken. And I've seen her videos. £1,900. £1,900 is the offer. One of the lowest offers we might have ever seen.
I don't want that. Why
No
does he
one
keep
wants
giving
that.
me offers that I don't want? Why, like,
Because you're
that's
not
not how it works.
doing too
Like,
well.
But yeah, but like, can I haggle?
Fortunately not. All you can do is answer the question. Is it deal or no deal?
or no deal?
No, I don't want that. Why doesn't he ring and fucking offer me like an amount that I would want?
If you can get rid of some of these blues, he might ring and offer you something. Well, I feel like you wouldn't do for
Let's open
anything
some
for
more
less than
boxes.
35
Choose
grand.
a box to open.
No, fucking hell, I'm not gonna fucking get out of bed in the morning. Or anything less than
I mean,
that.
that's where you do a lot of your work anyway, so you don't need to. We got 6, 4, 17. 12, 16, 2, and 7.
Give me 2.
Give you 2. Cousin Calvin! Come on, Cousin Calvin.
Open box 2. 3,000.
3,000! I mean, they don't look happy about it, but it could have been worse. Could have been worse, but it's looking
Choose a box to
really
open.
bad for you here, Rihanna.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, you got a lot of blues and only 2 reds.
Okay, do I keep picking numbers or what do I do?
Yeah, you've still got... I've lost count. I don't remember if it's 1
Why
or 2
can't I
for this
just
round.
fucking check what's inside first and then pick them?
Again, it's the format of the show.
Yeah, but that would be a lot easier and then I would know what ones that I'm supposed to be picking. This is stupid.
It's all about, you know, it's all about the content. You should know this. Imagine all your Instagram
No,
posts were just nothing.
I'm more of a expert in content. You seen that one that I did in a tent?
Yeah. I've seen it.
Number 12, please.
Number 12, Goth Lady.
Box 12, please. 10.
Oh, 10,000!
It's now
Rihanna.
all or peanuts.
Yes, Sparkle, you heard that correctly. You've only got
You
1
certainly
red
know how to find the reds. Choose your next box.
and 5 blues.
What do I do now? Is he gonna call back?
You got
or...
one more to choose. And then he'll call us.
Give me, number 4.
4. Prince Harry. Have you ever met Prince Harry? You're rubbing shoulders with the rich and famous.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a regular.
He's a regular? Is it a regular or irregular?
No, him and Megan. Yeah. Is it Megan? I think so.
Yes,
They
Megan.
use these other names when they go for sessions.
Oh, yes, please.
But
What
I know
names do
it's
they
them.
use?
What?
What names do they use?
I think one of them, she says like Catherine, and then he says like Willie. It's weird.
Willie. Okay.
Yeah.
Box
Number 4.
£5.
£5.
That good? I don't know.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's not in your current state. It's
That
good.
was an okay round, and I wonder what the banker made of
The
it.
bank is about to call, though, and I think
What do I do now? Do I pick another one?
Nope, we're gonna have a little.
Hello?
Apparently, Megan was on the US
No.
version, and she was one of the people who opened the boxes of Deal or No Deal.
It was bound to be less this time.
Oh,
Oh,
that doesn't
no.
surprise me. Megan's got a great
Player one,
box.
are you ready for the question?
They use briefcases on the American one. I'm
That
sure you've
doesn't
had a
make any
few
sense.
briefcases in your time, but it happens to everyone. Oh, banker. Banker. She's used to being fucked, but Christ. 1,700 is the offer.
What is that? Is he trying to give me that much money?
Yeah, he's
Is that
trying to
what
give
it
you
is?
1,700.
What's he trying to do? Is he trying to fuck me in the ass?
Just
Stop trying to fuck me in the ass.
Oh dear. What's the deal on No Deal Khan? Oh dear. Oh,
No deal to that one. Again. Why doesn't he
No
just
deal.
do one that I want to deal with?
Right, this is our last round of picking
You
boxes.
seem very confident. Okay.
We want them all to be
Let's
blue,
open some more boxes.
so we can maybe
Choose
get
your
the
next
35
box.
grand.
I knew a guy once that, like, he had, like, one of those fucking, like, conditions, and it made him pick his box all the time.
What? I don't understand.
Am
He had a
I-
condition.
Am I picking... I
You
don't
had
want
a
to pick
condition-
anybody else's box. I feel like you need to go to the doctor for that.
Well, I'm not saying box is humble one. It's our esteemed guest. Well, we're trying to avoid a red box, so you don't want to be picking it.
I mean... Jesus Christ, if you were a real man, you wouldn't care if the box was red or not.
Got 76. 16
Number
or
6,
7.
please.
Number 6. Andrea 2, come
Open
on.
Box number 6.
No! It's the 35. You're guaranteed
the
a
one
blue.
we were trying to avoid.
You're guaranteed a blue.
Where are you going next?
Oh, Rihanna.
Okay, so...
We've gone from the highs of Stardust to this absolute pain.
Oh, it's fine. I'm used to being underneath.
Okay.
What do I do now?
What are we going
Do I
for?
pick
Another
more?
box. You got 2 more to pick.
17.
17, Lenny. Oh, Lenny. What have you
Box
got, Lenny?
number 17. Let's keep it blue.
It's 50p.
That's just what we were looking for.
£750 is what we're aiming for now.
How many votes can a dog get
One
for
more box before the next
$750?
I'm guessing 1. How much is a vote worth? How much is 1 vote?
Am I 7? Am I still doing numbers? Yeah.
Yeah, you're still doing numbers. Number 7.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Open box 7.
£50. Okay. Not bad. So you're either going to be walking away £1, 750, or whatever the banker offers you now, which is probably going to be about 200.
Big money to play for.
Maybe even less.
I don't want £200.
Hello, banker.
She's used to having more than £1, yes.
That's a derisory
£750. Oh, banker.
Player one, are you ready for
£190 is the offer for you, Rihanna. £190.
That's not enough.
I mean, 750 isn't enough.
That's not enough. I need more pounds to get to where I wanna be.
Where you want to be,
No one's gonna watch a video with £190 in it.
£750 is what we're aiming for then, so is that no deal?
No deal. This is
Deal
stupid.
or no deal?
Now, Rihanna, here's
Was
another
that
question.
a brave or a foolish decision? Let's
Have you
play on
ever
and find out.
exchanged boxes with anyone else?
Hello?
How would that work?
Yeah.
It sounds
You
like
tell me.
complicated
anyone-
surgery.
He's
If anyone would
offering
know.
you a swap.
I just know you all get, I imagine you all get, work done.
Why would I want? I've got a fucking award-winning box. Why? What do you mean?
I mean, it's probably got some wear and tear.
I feel like that's quite a toxic and misogynist misconception of you.
What are we going to do then? Are we going to swap your box? Or are you going to keep the one you currently have?
Why is it saying swap or no swap? Do we like swap positions or something now?
Yeah, swap boxes.
I don't think so. Whose
You gonna
box
stick
is
with
it?
your
Is it
22?
Megan's box? I would maybe
think-
swap with Megan's box. It's pretty damn good.
I think it's Vlad the Vampire, I think. I can't quite remember.
Oh. So you think that box would be good at sucking?
It could very well be.
Oh. Oh. I wonder, do I want a fucking vampire box? That's a good question. Yeah. I think I'm gonna take a vampire box. I could do like a
You're
vampire
going for the
special
swap?
then. Yeah.
You going to do a vampire special?
Yeah, like a special video.
What's it going to be called? So you've gone to box 16.
Yeah.
Well, what's your vampire video going to be called?
Twilight.
Just Twilight?
Yeah.
Not like Twilight New...
That's a good name. I don't think anyone's ever used it before.
Someone in chat has said Twitight.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't like it. Let's see. When you're ready, tell me to open your box.
Oh, thank you for asking. That's very polite of you.
Apology accepted, Paul. Just give me the word.
Yeah, you can go on ahead and is the camera rolling?
Camera's rolling.
Okay, if the camera's rolling and everyone's ready. Yeah, you can go on ahead and open
You're
up my
ready
box.
for your close-up. 750!
Is that good?
It's better than £1.
Is that bad?
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not great. But out of the possible results you could have just had, pretty good.
There never was big money in that game.
Yeah, fine. So who gets
Noel
that?
just
That's
said there
all.
was never big money in that game. What do you think about that?
Who's Noel?
If you had taken the 5,300, you would have beat the banker.
Oh. Is that what he wanted me to do the whole time? Just beat him? I would have done that. So does he just go beat himself now instead?
Well, you definitely won't be beating him.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's a real shame. What's next for Rihanna Richardashian?
I don't fucking know. I'm probably just gonna party the rest of the day.
Is there going to be another series of Meet the Richardashians?
I don't fucking know. I haven't spoke to my fucking family in ages.
Well, why not?
I've just been out here going to fucking parties and, you know, just having a good time and dancing. And I'm not,
Wow.
like, running from my problems or drowning my sorrows or anything. Shut up about it.
Rihanna, you are third on our Beat the Banker. Lost to the Banker. Bored. That's not bad.
It's okay.
That's
I've
not
been
too
under
bad.
2 people before. That's fine.
Well, you've got...
I can take that.
Oh, hate this thing. You've got 2 people on top of you, but you've got like 6 or 7 underneath you. So,
Who's on top of me? Are they cute?
have you ever heard of Arthur Trout?
Davy's dad?
I don't know who Davy is. Is Davy's last name Trout?
Yeah.
Then quite possibly Davy's dad, yeah.
Oh. Oh. Isn't he dead?
Yeah, he is dead. He mentioned that.
Oh. You know what? It wouldn't be that. I did a special video once where there was ghosts involved. I could do another one. Yeah.
Ghosts.
Like a, you know, like a speciality one.
Now, you could probably make that without having ghosts, but people wouldn't know. As long as you're just acting like there's a ghost there.
What do you mean, just fake it? I don't fake it. I'm totally real.
Every single time?
Yeah.
I mean, your co-stars must all be very good.
I don't know. I'm just good, I guess. That's why I'm the best. I'm totally real. I never fake anything, you know?
Okay, well, Rihanna, thank you so much for coming to play. I think that's the name of one of your films as well.
Okay, do you have, like, that Ghost Arthur guy's number? He's gonna have to sign an NDA before we do anything.
I'll have my people get in touch with your people.
Okay, yeah, you do that.
Well, alright, thank you very much, Rihanna.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have yourself a pleasant day. Well, everyone, what an experience that one was.